Economic experts have been issuing cautionary statements about an impending recession for some months now. In an effort to curb the rate of inflation, the Federal Reserve has been fairly active with interest rate increases this year. The Fed wants to raise borrowing costs to the point where consumer spending starts to fall. This will help fix the supply and demand imbalance that drove up the cost of products. However, the Fed is taking a chance. A significant decrease in consumer expenditure might result from an excessive increase in interest rates. In turn, that might exacerbate a recession, which many people dread. So far, the one bright spot in this whole situation has been the robust job market. In fact, a lot of financial experts have admitted that even while they believe a recession might be on the horizon, it won't necessarily be severe. However, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon has made some unsettling comments regarding the state of the economy. Hi, and welcome to Stealth Wealth. In today's video, we're going to talk about how a recession will play out in the next coming years. Since we're talking about the recession, please like and subscribe to this channel and recess the notification bell for more financial advice, tips, and tricks. You might be wondering what recession is. The proper definition of a recession is a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, generally identified by a fall in GDP in 2 successive quarters. Typically, recessions are only properly defined after they've ended. When a recession is at its worst, investors, economists, and workers may all have quite different experiences. Investors may believe a recession has started when investment losses mount and company earnings decrease, even while other indicators of recession, such as consumer spending and unemployment, remain positive. Equity markets frequently collapse prior to an economic downturn. On the other hand, employees may believe that a recession is still going on even after the economy has recovered, since unemployment rates sometimes remain high for years after the economy reaches its lowest point. A recession causing economic shock is the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic and the public health measures put in place to avert it. Despite only lasting for 2 months, the COVID-19 pandemic-related economic slowdown in 2020 was so severe and broad that the NBER classified it as a recession. Given that certain economic indicators indicated a recession in 2022, while others didn't, many economists argued about whether or not the US economy was in one. In a study published in October 2022, analysts at the investment advising company Raymond James contended that the US economy was not in a recession. The financial advisor contends that even though the economy saw 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, it did not fulfill the technical criteria for a recession, and that various other encouraging economic indicators refute this claim. It begins by pointing out that employment increased despite a decline in GDP. The study also notes that while real personal disposable income decreased in 2022, a significant portion of the reduction was caused by the termination of the COVID-19 relief program, and personal income without these payments continued to increase. Similar information from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis shows that as of late October 2022, important NBER indicators do not indicate that the American economy is in recession. So what's the worst thing that might happen? Although Dimon agrees that the American economy is now strong, he is nevertheless of the opinion that things are likely to become worse. A 20% to 30% risk of seeing something worse than a recession in the near future, he added, is also possible. Now, in terms of the economy, we often envision a full-blown depression, a very long period of economic collapse when we consider what's worse than a recession. To be clear, Dimon isn't asserting that he believes we're moving in that direction. Instead, he believes it's a possibility for which people should prepare. The truth is that no one can forecast with absolute confidence if a recession or anything worse will occur, when it will occur, or how severe it would be. Sometimes these circumstances simply need to unfold and finish their natural course. But preparing for a recession is always a good idea, especially in light of all the warnings we've been hearing. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, predicts that there's only a 10% probability of an economic slowdown without a recession, but he ominously warns that there's a 20% to 30% risk of something worse. While the US economy is currently strong and consumer balance sheets and companies are in excellent health, the banking chief warned on a client call that there are storm clouds in the near future, according to Yahoo Finance. Dimon now believes that a light recession has a 20% to 30% possibility, while a severe recession has the same odds due to increased Fed rates, quantitative tightening, oil shocks, the conflict in Ukraine, and escalating US relations with China. But what about the final result? Perhaps even worse, he said. Although Diamond emphasizes that it's incorrect to make a single point prediction about what'll happen to the US economy, he has many reasons to be negative. Diamond claims that there's a lack of confidence because of inflation, because of political politics, and because there's a lot of carryover age from COVID-19. He believes that the Fed's aim of reducing inflation from 8% to 4% by the end of the year is very implausible, and that it won't happen. Despite being hazy, the JP Morgan CEO's forecast is more gloomy than most other CEOs. While BlackRock CEO Larry Fink advised investors to remain calm and carry on, warning that the economic headwinds on current markets are business as usual. For long-term investors, Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon similarly cautioned that there will be trouble ahead and urged people to prepare for worsening inflation and approaching recession. On Jim Cramer's Mad Money on CNBC, Fink asked, "Is there a possibility of recession?" Indeed there is, and even if we are in one, it'll be a very minor one. The reason why I'm sharing these predictions from people in the business industry is to prepare you for anything that'll be worse than a recession. Increasing your emergency fund is one of the greatest strategies to prepare for a recession. Following the epidemic, several experts are encouraging individuals to save more than 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Some people like Suze Orman believe that keeping 8 to 12 months worth of expenses in your savings account is a better idea. Therefore, the closer to that goal you can achieve, the better. At the same time, doing your part to reduce high debt pays off. You don't want to hold a credit card balance since it might cost you extra later this year or early next year as further interest rate rises are anticipated. You definitely don't want hefty monthly obligations hanging over your head if the economy worsens. Finally, try to improve your professional abilities. That could lessen your odds of being let go if your firm is forced to shrink, but it won't ensure you won't. One important aspect of recessions is unemployment. Companies require fewer workers if demand for goods and services declines, and they may fire employees to save expenses. Employees who are laid off must reduce their own spending, which lowers demand and increases the likelihood of more layoffs. Recessions also occur more frequently than you may imagine. It's not unusual to have one every 10 years. As a result, if you plan to invest for the long term, you should prepare for the possibility of experiencing a recession. Because short-term volatility and earning problems are rather common, Warren Buffett has consistently counseled investors to maintain a long-term vision in mind. 5 or 10 years from now, if you invest in a firm with solid fundamentals, those fundamentals will probably increase and lead to record earnings. This does not exclude you from assisting yourself by making wise investments, though. Buffett favors physical assets that produce a lot of cash, like farms and real estate that he refers to as productive assets. He's also urged individuals to avoid adding unnecessary complexity to situations. The majority of investors actually just need to invest in an index fund linked to the S&P 500. Which has a history of producing positive long-term returns. Although recessions are still frequent, most economies have expanded consistently since the Industrial Revolution, with few exceptions. According to the International Monetary Fund, there were 122 recessions between 1960 and 2007 that nearly 10% of the time affected 21 advanced economies. Recessions are now less common and endure for shorter periods of time. Recession-related decreases in economic production and employment may spiral out of control. For instance, diminishing consumer demand may force businesses to lay off employees, which may have an impact on consumer purchasing power and ultimately reduce consumer demand. Similar to this, the wealth effect may be reversed by the bear markets that frequently follow recessions, making individuals suddenly less rich and cutting back on expenditure. Governments all across the globe have used fiscal and monetary measures since the Great Depression to stop an ordinary recession from being worse. Some of these stabilizing elements are built in, like unemployment insurance, which puts money in the hands of jobless workers. Other strategies like lowering interest rates to encourage investment call for more specific acts. Now is the time to understand what you're spending today and anticipate your needs over the next 6 months. If you're well prepared for a recession, a job loss, or other financial hurdle, you'll have an emergency fund that covers 3 to 6 months of living expenses and hopefully a healthy nest egg for retirement. If you don't have at least 3 to 6 months of basic expenses in cash, then set that as your financial goal. Start by developing a basic understanding of how you're spending your money and building a budget. To start building a budget, figure out your total household income from all sources. This includes you, your spouse or partner, and any side hustles that bring cash into the household. You should also include income from investments and any other sources such as child support. Even though a recession may be a challenging period, the greatest thing you can do is to start proactively preparing for it now. You can rely on Equifax for trustworthy information on important subjects to help you manage your money during these trying times. Financial literacy is crucial now more than ever, so you can feel confident about your financial situation no matter what obstacles lie ahead. Even if job losses or layoffs are imminent, put as much money as you can into your emergency fund. When the revenue stops coming in, you'll need every last piece of it. Give up anything extra, even delivery and takeout. Losing your work or having to live on a lower wage certainly qualifies as a solid reason to utilize part of the money you've saved, though it's never a choice you should make lightly. However, as soon as your financial condition improves, it's critical to replenish your emergency money. If not, you could be forced to make difficult choices like taking money out of your retirement account or asking for a home equity line of credit when the next emergency arises. Check out our other related videos and please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep this valuable information coming. Your comments are important to us, and we'd like your suggestions on what you would like to learn on our channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time,